All right, guys. So today we are going to discuss something that has significant implications for global geopolitics, the future of Quad Alliance beyond the upcoming US presidential election, which is coming in November. So that's the topic that we are going to handle. So if you look at the Quad, so I'll be discussing the basic details and everything in this session. So the Quad comprising of US, India, Japan, and Australia. And it has been a major topic of discussion recently, especially if you look at this debate is more in the light of ongoing summit and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the US. Okay, so if you look at the Quad, for those who don't know or those who are new to this, the Quad is an informal strategic dialogue between four major democracies like India, US, Japan, and Australia. So this alliance basically aimed to ensure a free and open Indo-Pacific region with a specific focus on countering China's growing influence in the area. So the Quad was initially formed in 2007, but it saw a revival in recent years as these nations saw the need to strengthen their collective security measures. Now, during the recent Quad summit, a lot of focus was placed on the future of this alliance, especially considering the upcoming US elections in November. Now, there are several questions being raised. Will the Quad survive if there is a change in leadership in the US? Okay, so there are valid concerns given that the US has been a driving force behind the Quad's recent activities. So, when asked about the future of the Quad, President Biden emphasized that this alliance is strong and will continue to be so, regardless of who is in the office. So he even pointed out that much of the Quad's future success depends on India's role, and India is actually the leader when it comes to Quad, highlighting the importance of Prime Minister Modi's leadership in this context. So if you look at some historical context, okay, so it's essential to understand the Quad that we know today is actually the second iteration of this alliance. The first Quad formed in 2007 fell apart when Australia backed out in 2008 under the newly elected Labour government at that point of time. So this history raises concern about the stability and longevity or longevity of the Quad, especially as we face another potential shift in global leadership. That's why I have mentioned already that what happens in case of presidential election, if there is a change in leadership, then what will be the future of Quad? Okay, now if you look at the challenges facing by the Quad, so all these we can discuss. Climate change is a concern. Okay, so we will be discussing one by one. There are several changes that the Quad faces, which could impact its future. So here, let's look at India's neutral stand. Okay, so India's neutral stand. India, while being a crucial member, has historically maintained a neutral stand in global conflicts. So this neutrality, especially in the context of India's relation with Russia and China, raises questions about its commitment to the Quad. So particularly when it comes to military engagements, okay, and divergent policies on China. If you look at it, all the Quad members agree on countering China's dominance. Their approaches differ significantly. The US, if you look at its focuses on economic sanctions and military posturing, while India depends border, tensions, continues to engage in substantial trade with China. So this divergence could weaken the Quad's unified front. We cannot completely avoid or ignore China. Okay, so militarization of the Quad. If you look at the next topic is militarization. Unlike NATO, which has a clear military framework, the Quad has been hesitant to fully militarize. India, in particular, has been reluctant to join military alliances, preferring bilateral partnership over group-based military commitments. So basically, this hesitancy could limit the Quad's effectiveness in addressing security challenges in the Indo-Pacific. So how can we conclude now? These are common concerns. Now, if you look at this conclusion, so while the Quad has made significant strides in recent years, its future remains uncertain. The upcoming US election could be a turning point for the alliance. However, the survival and success of the Quad will largely depends on how these four nations navigate their differences and work towards their shared goal of a free and open Indo-Pacific. Now, if you look at these areas, climate change is again a major concern. So Quad nations collaborate on developing and implementing a clean energy solution and disaster resilience. There are joint efforts focuses on enhancing the Indo-Pacific region's resilience to climate-related disasters. Research cooperations. There are shared research initiatives aimed to address climate change, challenges in the region. Now, public perception, the positive view, the criticisms, and media narratives, future scenarios, strengthened alliance, more strengthened alliance, extended membership. Okay, so all these are important. So that's it, guys. I hope I have covered the major areas that we are supposed to discuss from exam point of view. Thank you.